going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. So just another recap on today's trading. So I want to give a huge shout out to all those members within our group, TechBud Solutions, that participated today. So if you guys don't know what TechBud Solutions is, it is a free group you can join. The link is provided for you down below, and it's the Facebook platform. Once you get into the Facebook platform, once you get accepted, right, you're going to click on this link right here, and it's going to send you to the group chat platform, which is this where, you know, if you swing trade, then you can join this one. This is the general or the main group chat platform, where we share best practices, talk about what it is that we're trading and why, and it's just a matter of sharing, you know, mistakes and best practices, an effort for new members to learn, in a sense, from what it is that we're doing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I right away shouted a couple pre-market movers. It looks like there was pretty good movement during pre-market. It was more like, you know, there was really big spikes, but that really doesn't mean anything because, you know, if you didn't hold overnight, you didn't ride it up. So now what that meant is because there was big spikes, now they're going to most likely bleed back down once the market opens. So you have to kind of be aware for those. There was a question on what is it that I look for when it comes to, you know, pre-market movers and stuff like that. And how I identify, you know, what it is I'm going to trade. So I started shedding out these different stocks. The support I identified at 250, and it's usually what I do during the morning. So again, the market hasn't opened. This gray area is pre-market hours. So I said support at 250, resistance at $3, and the reason why is because obviously the resistance being there at $3, balancing here around the 250 area. And I continued to do it with just different stocks that I saw had really good volume. CIE was one of them. NAK was one of them that did very well today for those traders that jumped in. IDXG was one that went very high but then ended up bleeding back down. So again, that's one that we kind of wanted to avoid. So although it showed growth, it was already, you know, the growth already happened before we could get in, so it doesn't really mean anything to us. So FNCX showing us support around 95 cents, which later on ended up breaking. So again, there's just these different trends that we're able to identify, right? So support at 175. Resistance at about $2. Overall, this is for RGSE with a high of, you know, 205, low point of 174. So going into it, just depending on how the market was opening, I knew NUGT, based on the huge dump that it took, I was going to jump into that one, and I wanted to get around two different other stocks that I was going to jump in. So NUGT, because of the huge dump it took, this was pre-market, right? Set a support right around that $11 mark, hit highs of 11.25, and then came back down, and it was just, you know, that concentration just around that $11 mark. So keep that in mind. Then CIE coming back up to the support, so it hit highs of 79. So again, showing that growth. We've traded CIE for the past like 3 weeks repeatedly within the same support and resistance level, which is like, you know, usually never happens because it usually goes above it or goes below it. So it's been bouncing within this area, the 75 cents to 80 cents so often, and it did the same thing today, and that's why I ended up jumping in. So I actually told the team exactly what it was that I was going to be trading on once I minimized, you know, or filtered out certain stocks. And I said CIE, RGSE, and NUGT are the stocks that I'm going to be trading today, and that's exactly how the day played out. So I started the morning off with my trade on NUGT. I cut it at the bounce at $11, and I'm going to be talking about what is it that, you know, I found so attractive with NUGT. So this is the TD Ameritrade, the Fidelity Brokerage Company platform. I'm using the EMA line. So if you guys don't know what this indicator means, there's a link or one of my most recent YouTube videos will explain that you know, in detail, how you guys could use this indicator to show upward momentum, right? We obviously perform technical analysis before every trade. So right away during pre-market hours, let's see where it's at. Well, it took a huge dip, so we're gonna have to, so let's go right here. This is pre-market hours as of today, the 27th. So right away during pre-market hours, what I was able to identify was that yesterday it built a support around 11.20. It had that support during after hours, right? And then during pre-market hours, which is this half of this gray area, it broke that support and then ended up going, where was it going to go? Most likely, again, stocks liking nice numbers, it was most likely going to bounce at $11. So again, we set up a game plan. I told the team when I shouted NUGT out that there was a support at $11 based on, you know, the concentration that was down here. So I'm going to get a little bit closer and do a 2-day analysis, and again, I'm going to have to cut this piece off. So how the market opened, the bounce here at $11, highs of about 11.25, 11.20, bounce right there. This is during when the market opened again. This is 7:30 Mountain Standard Time, so depending on where you are at. We saw the support here at $11. We knew there was going to be a resistance right around that 11.20, 11.25 area, and the same thing happened. Hit the resistance there, peaked at around 11.30, came back down, and then a couple traders started jumping in because it was actually holding above the EMA line, which means that it's showing upward potential, upward momentum. So as it continues to grow, it follows with this EMA line, right? I mean, it continues to hold above the EMA line, which shows growth. It first hit the resistance at 11.40, which is initially where I sold. So as the stock was rising, I knew there was a resistance at 11.40, and the reason why was because of previous trends. So if I go a little bit further back, I knew as of yesterday there was a resistance as it bounced from 11.20, and it had a resistance at 11.40. So just because I knew the previous trend from yesterday, I was able to identify that as a good sell point. It hit that 11.40 mark, hit highs of like 11.47, 11.45, came back down. I stop lossed out because I follow with the trailing stop loss, which means as the stock continues to rise, when I bought in at $11, as the stock continues to rise, I want to make sure I lock in my profit, just in case all of a sudden there's a sudden dip. So as the stock continues to rise, so does my stop loss. When it went above 140, it took about 3 times to go above 11.40, and the reason I gave it the third try, I told the team right as it was going up to the third time that this was going to be my last chance for it to go above 11.30. If it doesn't, then I'm out. So it hit it once, came back down, hit it twice, came back down, started building that volume, and then bounced right through, hit highs of 11.43, and then I ended up stop lossing out because I came back down. I stop lossed out. What I was going to wait for was the break above 11.55. And the reason why was because of the resistance. I wanted to make sure, I'm missing out in a sense about 15 cents. But again, not too worried about the small picture. I wanted to, make sure I catch it on the rise. So right when it broke above 11.85, it had a huge volume spike. And again, that's what we want. So I put in a limit at 11.55, got filled, and then rode it up. Ended up hitting a resistance at 11.80, and I was able to identify that. I shouted it out to the team, and the reason why was because of the previous trend as well. Again, simply just by going to yesterday, where did it peak out at? It bounces here at about 11.60 and hits highs of about first 11.90, comes back down, and then hits 11.80. So it was a previous resistance. Overall hit highs of 11.87, 11.88 if I'm not mistaken, and then huge news came out about President Trump releasing something that's going to actually lead NUGT to just currently NUGT will not be doing very well, right? And then that's when I ended up stop lossing out because I was following with a trailing stop loss, locked in my profits at 11.80. So for my trade from $11 to 11.40, I locked in $108, and then for my trade from 11.55 to 11.80, I locked in $65. As it came back down, I didn't know the news was actually going to lead it to go to what it actually did. But as the news continued to come, I tried to buy at the bounce at near $11, hoping that it would do the same thing and bounce back up to the 11.80 mark. As it continued to drop, I bought in around this area because it was building that concentration, so I thought it was going to bounce. Ended up stop lossing out at 11.80, and then that's when it led to that huge spike all the way down, bouncing at about 9.20, something around there, and then started coming up to highs of like 9.50. So overall, NUGT had a pretty bad day, right, on how it closed and based on what it opened. But because of us being able to properly set up a game plan on where we're buying, where we're selling, following with a trailing stop loss, cutting losses, anything below the support, minimizing loss, promoting growth, just these different plans, really get the fear out of trading. Once you really understand what it is that you're trading, why, and have a whole game plan set up, it's really going to lead to success. So overall, very successful trade in my opinion, right, with NUGT for that trade together. And then the next stock that I was talking about was RGSE. So I shouted out RGSE, so today being the 27th, because of the previous support that it had at 176. Again, previous resistance that I'm able to identify here at 185. So what did it do? As it continued to rise, right as I sold NUGT for I think the first time, RGSE started to rise, had a huge volume spike, and again, I kind of got impatient. I sold at 180, and then it spiked up to 185. With the RGSE trade, I locked in $68, so not too bad there. And then for CIE, just because of the previous trends that it's had, so this is, let's go ahead and do a 5-day analysis. We're going to change the frequency to 5 minutes. And as you guys can see, the support is usually around the same area, around 74 cents. The resistance is around the same area, just like realistically around 79 cents. So what did it do today? Hit lows of, on this huge spike, hit lows of 75.3. I got filled at 75.5, and then it hit highs of about 82. Realistically, although it could have potentially gone to highs of 84, realistically, based on the previous trends, I identified a resistance at 79 cents. And the reason I sold at, close to 79 cents was because of these previous trends. Yes, it would have been nice to squeeze in this extra profit. Again, the best way to make money when it comes to trading is to have a game plan and stick by it. If you are in the green, lock in those profits and stick to your plan. Don't get greedy and hold and then end up regretting not selling at a certain point, because that feeling is going to be one of the worst feelings. Now, hit lows of 75. I ended up selling at 79.3 and then jumped right up to highs of 82. With the CIE trade, I made $152. So just with that little squeeze, again, it's one that we've been able to do quite often because of the previous trends. So all of last week we were trading it and buying in at 74, selling at 78, 79, buying at 74, selling it. So it's, again, having a game plan, knowing where to buy, knowing where to sell, cutting losses if it drops below your buy point or the support, and that's really just it. We did have a couple other stocks that did very well today based on our alerts, and a couple traders within our group were able to make large amounts of profit. So this one opened at the support of 155, hit highs of 175. Again, why did it hit highs of 175? Old resistance, new resistance. It's a trend that repeats itself. And where is NAK most likely going to go? Well, again, old support, so most likely going to bleed down to the same support. And if not, then you can stop loss out. So again, that's how that played out. And then DRYS with our alert hit a 52-week low, balanced at about the 180 area, and then hit highs of 195. So again, that's nearly your 10% profit, and just being able to identify those supports, resistance, setting up a game plan is really what's going to lead to your success. So thank you guys again so much for all those that tuned in. I really do appreciate all the messages that you guys have been sending out to me. If there's anything that you think I can do to be a part of your success, feel free to reach out to me. You guys know how to reach out to me. It's techbuds@mail.com. You don't have to email me to be a part of this group anymore. You actually just click on the link like I was telling you here on this Facebook platform. But I really do appreciate it. If you guys can give this video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And if you guys could subscribe, we're right about that 3,000 subscriber mark. And then feel free to stay tuned to weekly videos with my new Z06 that I picked up. And if you guys have any questions or anything that you think I can help you out with, I'd love to be a part of your success. So please feel free to reach out to me. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and let's make sure that we end the week on a green note. Take care, guys.